Welcome, everyone. We have the Takara Transformers Dramatic Capture Series Autobot Headquarters. This is an exclusive set from Japan that includes Optimus, the Earthrise, another version of Jazz, and the ARC's computer. If you've got this guy on pre-order, he should be shipping pretty soon. If you bought him from a overseas or Asian retailer, it may be on the way. You may have gotten them already. So previously we've gotten a Decepticon Bridge box set with Megatron, Soundwave, and Shockwave. And technically prior to that, we had a bunch of Beast Wars Versus 2-packs that were an homage to the original Japanese release back in the 90s. So for the packaging, we've got some really nice artwork. I really like the line art that they did and the way they colored it. On the top, we've got the Dramatic Capture logo. On the bottom, we've got a bunch of legal information, and there's a QR code there if you want to see that. On the sides, we just have the Dramatic Capture Autobot Headquarters. Same thing on both sides. And on the back, we've got a nice little call out to little setup with Jazz and Optimus looking at Teletran. And I call him Teletran, but the character's name is actually Mainframe. And then we get to see both modes for each of these guys on the back. This is also a slip cover, I believe. Yep. And you get this nice CAD drawing of Mainframe. And then on the back, nothing special, but somebody thought to at least put something on the back. I appreciate that. So let's get this open. And when you open it up, you get to see all the figures inside. You do get a 3-color instruction sheet, poster style booklet. And you get these guys laid out in the tray. Nothing in the back. So let's get these guys all the way out. So here we have them out of the package. And they come with their original release accessories. Jazz has his blaster. Optimus has his blaster. And Mainframe has the Teletran Sky Spy satellite. And since we've got Mainframe in his alt mode at the moment, let's compare Mainframe to the original release. And it may not be picking up on the camera much, but the orange on here is a little teeny bit deeper, and it is mismatched. Like this orange is pretty close to this one, but the orange up here is different from this, and the orange here is a little bit darker than this. So that's a big difference. And then you can tell, from sticking out here that you've got blue feet on the new one. You've got these orange feet on the old. You also can see the red shoulders peeking out a little bit. The Sky Spy is pretty much the same color, although the original release, the gray is a little bit more silver, metallic looking, and the gray on the dome here is a little less metallic, less shiny. but almost the same. And then the orange is a little bit different, a little bit darker on the new release. And this release does not come with a golden disc, so that's kind of weird, right? But a golden disc did come with one of the Beast Wars Versus set, so Takara may feel like, well, if you've been buying these Japanese exclusive releases, you did get a special version of the disc. And I can't remember which figure it came with, but it's much smaller, but it does have the some details on the back, but completely different. And then turning these guys around, basically you see their robot guts. And let's get these guys into robot mode and show that off a little bit better. And here we have the two side by side, and the dramatic capture version definitely pops a lot more. And I believe this color scheme for Mainframe is a bit more of an homage to the original Action Master. This guy basically has the colors of the Arc Titan figure, so he was always going to be limited to color scheme because, you know, they print the material using, you know, basically a lot of the same material for the main figure. So basically this guy was always going to be limited to the colors that the overall Arc had for its color scheme. They still suffer from kind of being, you know, pretty odd as far as transformation. And one thing about the legs, most of the Arc, you know, folds inwards. And it's interesting that these don't fold around to cover the back at all. It all accordions into the front. It's not the worst thing ever, but just interesting that that was the approach they used for the figure. But this one definitely looks a lot better. And if you got this one, keep them in Teletran mode, and you've got a Teletran playset. So for Jazz, we've gotten two other releases at this point. We have the first Studio Series release, and then we got the Target Autobot 5-pack. And so this version is yet different still. So some big things are the paint for the gun is shinier, more metallic looking. The front grille is darker than the other two. The Autobot symbol is also a little bit different, more like the original toy with the silver outlining. The face is painted silver, much more metallic looking than the original release. The visor has a deeper blue, just stands out more. The gray on the shins and on the feet are painted, and again, they're a bit more metallic. There's a little teeny extra detail. This little line is painted on this version, not on the original, but is painted on the 5-pack. So just different as different as different. The original Jazz did not have any stripes on the side. This guy does have the stripes, and they are a little different than the Autobot release, Autobot 5-pack. And then the striping is yet a little different on the back. We got thick red line, very thin red line, and kind of in between right here, not too thick, not too thin. And there's going to be more, the line work starts further up on this version, very similar to the Autobot 5-pack. And then another big difference is the Autobot 5-pack has blue painted on this flip around piece. These other guys don't. So if you didn't have a Jazz and you got this set, I think this is a good Jazz. This is a perfect Jazz. You know, compared to these two, this guy to me is probably the better version. But you know, we're still in this world of, you know, do these figures have silver faces or gray painted faces? I wish they would just choose one, because we've got this big mismatch with all the different releases for the Generations line. So I don't know. This is the one thing that frustrates me about Legacy and Siege and War for Cybertron altogether. But nevertheless, very good figure. And then last we have Optimus, and I will say that looking at this on camera and seeing it in real life, it just doesn't do it justice. I definitely like the colors on this, and even, you know, thinking about the Studio Series Optimus, I just really like the color scheme. I would say that the choice of colors is very similar to the cell shaded anniversary figures that came out years ago that were the Walmart exclusives. Very similar colors. I wish I still had that figure to show it off, but that's what it definitely reminds me of. And again, the colors just make it really pop a lot more. Comparing him to the Amazon release, Amazon release had a lot more dark colors. You might say this is maybe, you know, almost a toy edit version, especially with the purple blue coloring and the metallic striping. Even that Autobot symbol is kind of like this metallic outline. And then on here we've got the white outline. So, you know, it's a little weird on what they're doing with these dramatic capture releases. Like, in a way, this is very toy specific coloring, but this is very cartoon specific coloring, and these came together in one release. So, you know, same thing with the Decepticon pack. We had a Soundwave that had all this metallic gray paint on it, which I guess is more of an homage to the original toy. And then Shockwave had a purple that was very cartoon specific. So I don't know. It's kind of frustrating what they're doing with these. You can tell this is like, let's get this figure out and make it different. And I don't know. Again, I'm a little torn by what they're doing, because you would think these guys would be part of the same release. This is the Target Autobot 5-pack. This is the Takara Dramatic Capture Series. So we've got them, but we also have all these extra all these extra figures now. So what are you gonna do? And just to show him off with Studio 86, big difference in size, but like this color scheme is, you know, very complementary, you know, to the cartoon looks. The Studio 86 is still going to be like your best Optimus, but this is really nice. And you know, maybe you're looking for a Marvel Comics setup where the scales were a little bit more, you know, everybody wasn't, the size difference between the different characters were not as big. So, you know, this could be your Marvel Comics Optimus, and this could be your G1 cartoon Optimus. So overall, I think this is a good release. If you have these figures already, I don't know that I could recommend that you need to get them, but Mainframe is the color that you probably want. This Optimus, this mold, this is probably the color that you want. And if you liked the original release of Jazz, you would like this version better. So that's the way I look at it. Now we've got another dramatic capture release on the way with Starscream, Astro Train, and Blitzwing. Those colors look pretty good for those figures, but then you got to wonder, are we ever going to get a Studio Series Astro Train? Maybe they can remold them a little bit and take away some of that waffling and make them a little bit more cartoon accurate, a little bit more smoother. And then Blitzwing, I think, is fine as a toy, and they could always do some clever things with the coloring. But you know, they just keep doing weird things with these dramatic capture figures. You know, are they supposed to be toy deco, or are they supposed to be cartoon deco? The answer is yes, and all of above. Thank you for watching. If you haven't done so, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And as always, tune into more videos coming up. Thank you.